a bit late for another daily update, thanks to Echo X, our main sponsor. Well, here we go, another Echo X update, because the last one didn't work because the reception sucks. Story of my life. Anyway, day 4, it was a pretty intense day. It didn't start at 5 AM this time, and that was the original plan because I was going to hike up and fly from the mountain, but it was raining, and we were like, shit, what's this? This isn't part of the plan. But we sort of stuck with the plan anyway, pretended that it was all good, and it did come good. So I camped down the ridge there, flew from Kronplatz yesterday. That's the Dolomites, which looks pretty awesome actually. Came in this way yesterday, and today I've got to go down here. I'm looking at maybe going over a high pass that way, or around here. Either way there's passes, but a lot of the guys are on the road, which is a bit of a detour around. Ended up having a few sleddies though, and then landed on this other place where I could get, because I didn't have any gloves with me or no food as well, so landed 10 k's west down the valley, which sort of committed me a little bit to going, well, not going east around Innsbruck airspace, which is the obstacle today. Something hit my eye. Then climbed up and took off, and it was really tricky. Like, I was going down for a little bit. I was at 1700 metres to start with, and it was really quite a bit to get a climb. It'd be good if there was a little breeze coming up, make it easier. Basically, could be anything. Okay. So really I struggled for quite some time around here. I couldn't really gain any height, and often I was below launch, so Mum and Ben probably worried a bit as they hung out the tents to dry.
Did you like my launch?
Brilliant.
I actually fell on my ass.
To be perfectly honest, actually most of the time I spent below the launch height. I tried around here for a little bit. I tried on that spur, you can see to the right. I lost a bit of height, came back, tried here again, and then in the end I didn't really have any other option to push out to that spur. You can see looking back on the right is where I came from. There's a bit of a crossing to get out here, and there's obviously not many landings on the spur, so it was a bit risky, but I did manage to finally get up on there.
That's the way I was going to go to Innsbruck.
Once I got going, I was away, and I made some good ground until I topped up real high, like the cloud base, 3,000 metres, to make a big crossing. And I just got a lot more sink than I anticipated for a lot longer, and basically I got there pretty low. And there's also a little airspace thing which distracted me a little bit, but basically I ended up bombing out, which was kind of a bad thing to do in the middle of a good day. What turned out to be a good day.
Alright, see if this tribute is coming up the hill.
So I hiked up the hill real quick, gained a few hundred metres and took off again. But I think I timed it in a bad cycle. I didn't really pay attention before I took off. I just jumped out of the forest, and as soon as there I went. And straight off launch I just sunk right down, and then there was a hawk around. We were just sort of scratching bubbles, and we were just like, no, this is shit. So I went to land, and I was a bit slack, and I didn't give myself a big enough margin for clearing this bushy tree, and I ended up in the tree. Anyway, it sucked. Like, I initially just thought, oh, maybe I'll just kick the top branches and be okay. But then I just sank into it and ended up a few metres above the ground, and then when I wiggled a bit, I got onto the ground. And there happened to be a helicopter like really close to me when I landed. So he came and had a look and gave me a wave and a thumbs up. And then he came back 15 minutes later, and by that time I was on the ground, it was all good. And then all these mountain rescue guys, 7 of them, turned up out of nowhere, and I was talking to everyone on the phone. I was busy on the phone hanging from a tree. and it got sorted. Like we just basically chopped all those little branches, and it was kind of a bushy thing, and all the leaves were really good. Like they didn't really grab on the lines like some fault vegetation does. It just was really like the best tree to land in if you're going to land with. Still don't advise it though. So we got it out. We just had to chop all these little branches with a pruning saw, and I was sitting in the harness for quite a while because initially there was a bit of tension on there, and if I got out it would go back into the tree, so I didn't want to do that.
Aren't I a silly boy? Oh god.
Anyway, got out, went up the hill, and just didn't seem like it was really working that well, so I just kept climbing up. I must have gained nearly 1,000 metres on foot in the hot afternoon sun, but I'm glad I did because it wasn't that on when I took off, and I did manage to get up to over 3,000 metres, but it was fairly gentle, slow climbs at about 5 in the afternoon. And then I had this huge wall of icy glaciated mountains. There's a lot of snow this year. It's melting fast, but yeah, the rivers were all full. Anyway, so this thing was in front of me, and I thought, oh, maybe I can connect with that cloud out the front, but it was just getting near the end of the day, and I ended up losing maybe 600 or 700 metres, and I only had just enough height to just pop over the pass. I wasn't sure whether I could get more lift, and so I kept going along the ridge as long as I could, hoping to get more lift, but I didn't, and then I just popped over the pass real low. And this huge, big, cliffy thing which I was going for, this is probably around 7 o'clock at night now, it was like the classic thing that should work, but it was getting late in the day, and all these clouds that were building up over the big mountains were shading it out. But it was in sun when I started gliding for it, but my whole glide over it was in shade. I was like, oh geez, hope it still works. So I did hang around there for ages trying to get a climb, and I got a few hundred metres, precious metres, and then I went along because I wanted to push north towards Innsbruck. So this time I was just going straight in the guts and want to land like at the edge of airspace and walk through it tomorrow. And I felt like there was going to be a valley wind pushing me down as soon as I got away from those cliffs. So I slope landed, I bunched up, walked about 2 minutes, took off again, flew for about 30 seconds because it was kind of like a double pass, and then I walked another 50 or 100 metres, and then took off again, and then landed in this logged clearing in the forest because I thought if I hike up again it would be a better glide. And then I had my last glide just before 9 PM, which probably was better than it would have been if I hadn't had that landing. But it was a bit stressful actually because I had to untangle the lines just before launching because one of them was like wrapped around and I had to step through my harness the right way to get it to work. But I managed to take off and I landed a few minutes early. And then I had this, it didn't seem like an hour and a half for me to pass, but it took a long time to walk here. And Ben and Mum, well, Ben would have booked it. It's just amazing he got this place that I turned up to, like, was it a minute before the curfew, Mum?
Yeah, or half a minute.
Yeah, maybe half a minute before the 10:30 curfew. And it's a pretty awesome spot. Just had a hot shower. Ripped out a second tick of the trip. And I've got a bit of a slog tomorrow morning, so I'm going to try and sleep as much as I can because I have to get under Innsbruck airspace and on the other side before I can fly. And there's probably going to be storms again, so don't want to get there too late. So it's all happening. There you go. How good is it to be inside a guest house?